Value is ours to define. No one can declare it for you. It's ours to create. No one makes it like you do. It's ours to experience. No one can take that feeling from you. Value is a story from within us. A spark that can catch and ignite the world to share value. Share what you value. Download Valora today.
Hello and welcome. Judy, we're live if you want to introduce everyone.
Yes. I only see you, so maybe I would wait the rest of the folks to join, then we can start. Woohoo! Awesome. We are 3 minutes to 6 o'clock, so let's get started. Well, hello everyone. Thank you for joining me today. I'm Judy Piper. I'm one of the engineering leads at cLabs and also the host for this Tech Talk series. Celo is a mobile-first full-stack blockchain platform with a mission to build a financial system that creates conditions of prosperity for everyone. We recognize this is an ambitious mission, and we're building Celo with our end users and community. For this reason, we studied Celo Tech Talks to share and spread the Celo technology knowledge with the growing Celo community. We are kicking off the first part of the Celo Tech Talk series special edition, celebrating Women's History Month. I'm super excited to have 4 fantastic Valora experts at cLabs who are leading Valora App application development and forging user adoption. So before starting the panel discussion and Q&A, I'd like to ask each panelist to introduce themselves briefly. And panelists, please include, feel free to share your fun facts about yourself or how you got to work on Celo and anything else you want to share. Who wants to go first? Lawrence?
Sure. Hi, everyone. My name is Laurence, and I'm on the marketing team at cLabs. And I started this journey about 2.5 years ago. And I actually got introduced through Vanessa Slavich. We were doing triathlon together, and we were chatting about all things. And I was talking about how I wanted to work on something that was going to make a big impact on the world and be really mission-based. And when she joined cLabs, she said, Laurence, you got to join, and introduced me to the whole space. And I haven't looked back since. And our goal on the marketing team is really to provide global access to Celo and CUSD by ensuring that everyone knows about the value of the Celo ecosystem and the Celo platform and how to access it, such as ways through Valora. So things that I've worked on is education initiatives, earn campaigns such as Coinbase Earn, and I'm looking forward to providing more of that for the future for all of the Celo ecosystem.
Isabel? We go counterclockwise. What clockwise?
Hi, everyone. I'm Isabel. I'm one of the engineers working on the Valora team. I actually have been working on Celo also around for 2.5 years. And I was also introduced through Vanessa. We actually met through like a Women in Tech Facebook group. And she introduced me to the rest of the team back then. I had worked with blockchain a little bit in a previous role, which piqued my interest. But Celo really combined, I think, a lot of like the user aspect that I felt like was missing in the space at the time. So yeah, really excited to be working on such a cool product.
Denise?
Hi, everyone. So excited to be here. So I'm Denise. I'm on the product team at cLabs, and I work very closely on Valora with product managers and with engineers and with people on marketing like Laurence. So I joined cLabs 2 years ago. And I joined cLabs because I was really driven by like Celo's mission. So previously I've worked in international expansion and bringing global products to emerging markets, both in fintech and in crypto. And what really drew me to Celo was like that mission of making something with people in emerging countries, not for them. So when I joined cLabs, I've been focused a lot on understanding the user, their needs, and how we can make Valora a product that solves their needs and not something we think they need. So I'm very excited to chat with everybody here today and to share a little bit of that experience.
Dominic.
Hi, everyone. My name is Dominique. I joined cLabs several months ago, so August of last year. And I work on the product team, and a lot of my focus is on support and how that works into user education, product adoption, and product development. And so getting all those things to work together. Let's see. I was originally part of a different blockchain startup, and we were part of an acqui-hire to join cLabs. And so that happened last year, and yeah, that's about it.
Super. All right. I have some questions that I prepared for you folks to consider, and maybe you can take a turns to answer them. Sounds good to you? So first question, how do you describe Valora to those who are not familiar with blockchain or crypto? Who wants to take it?
I can take this. If they're not really familiar with the technology behind it, I try to explain it in as simple as terms as possible and in something that they can relate to. So if I'm talking to people in the US especially, I let them know that it's kind of like the Venmo for crypto. That resonates really well with them. And if I'm talking to like friends or families who are overseas, I tell them that, it's a really great way to shop and send money instantly with digital money anywhere around the world.
Yeah, I'd like to add to that. I agree with Dominique. I'd say the same thing to people in the US. It's Venmo for crypto, but for people who are non-Venmo countries, so every other country on the planet, I try to help them visualize what it would be like to give cash to someone else, but do that digitally. So with nobody in between, you're just handing over value from one person to the next. There are no institutions in the middle, and it's up to the person who is holding that cash physically, physically in the traditional world, but in Valora's world, digitally, to keep it safe and to control it.
Yeah, I can add to that. I was actually explaining it to my grandparents a little bit ago, and I was saying, well, it's like sending me money without having to go to the bank, because my grandparents a lot of times would send me money orders and they have to go to the bank, and then and then they send me a check and then I get it, and I'm like, oh, I don't really know how to do this anymore in the 21st century. And so for them, it was like, okay, I see. Like, we don't have to use a bank. Still a little bit confusing, but it started making things click.
Yeah, totally agree with what everyone else has said. I also often use the Venmo, but on blockchain analogy. And I like to emphasize that it's really like money without borders. So if you put yourself in the shoes of someone who might not have access to the same financial tools that a lot of us do in the countries that we live in, then you can really see where the value comes in. And then even just like I do a lot of like cross Canada to US like money transfers, which shouldn't be, but it often like is really complicated. So you can really see how that value comes in when you're like trying to send value to people in different countries.
Continuing with that, introducing Valora to the end users who joined this live streaming session, but they might not familiar with the blockchain. So for the end users adoption perspective, what does that look like to you in the crypto space? You know, trying to have the user adoption expanding for the Valora app.
I can maybe start. So Valora adoption looks different to different people. So if you put yourself in the shoes of the user, there are some who already understand crypto and they're just very excited by the power of blockchain to do financial transactions and to do this in a mobile way. And so users who understand crypto like get the value of Valora of being able to transact like a text message very quickly. And so the adoption is very easy. But for users, oftentimes in emerging markets, but also in places like the US and Europe or Canada, it's also about like understanding crypto and understanding what it really means to be transacting on crypto. So adoption has to be paired a lot with user education. Some of the things that Laurence mentioned that she works on are earn campaigns by which users get compensated or rewarded in a way for learning about Valora, learning about how the Celo blockchain makes Valora transactions possible. Other ways are to do user education campaigns through live streams like this one or other formats as well. So it can look very differently for different people.
Yeah, and to add to what Denise was saying, 100% agree. And Denise and I work closely with all of these different things. And when you think about, for me, what I always think about is when Venmo first came out, I didn't immediately say, woohoo, I'm going to put all my money in here and it's going to be great. And I'm just going to transact with people. I actually needed to have a really close friend of mine start using it and start understanding it. And then actually I got a referral bonus and I got $10 in the Venmo app. And all of a sudden I saw I could use it and I could withdraw and I could do all these things. And now we see it as this in the United States, everyone uses Venmo. So it's kind of the same thing when we think about CUSD, Celo, and the Valora platform. It's important that people can interact with it in a very safe way. So these earn campaigns are really important because it allows users to not only learn about the platform and the power of the platform and why this is such a great tool for it to be a global tool for everyone, but also a way to earn CUSD or Celo, have it in the Valora wallet, and be able to transact with friends in a very easy way. And then you start seeing the power of this tool as you use it.
Yeah, I think that once it's able to be really integrated into our everyday lives, that's when people, like I said, that's when they see the true value. I look forward to the day where, you know, this kind of talk is boring, where it's just every day, where, you know, people don't think twice about it, kind of like social media. People don't think twice about social media and how easy it is to share parts of their lives, where like 20 years ago, it was, you had to like snail mail instead of like email or instant message. And so, yeah, I think for me, looking forward to the user adoption where we can just use it if you want to like shop online, if you want to like go down to the grocery store and pay with Valora, or one thing that I know people are interested in is also like being able to pay employees and or just pay for transportation. You know, you want to, if you're in the Philippines, you want to get jump on a jeepney ride or a tricycle, you can pay with crypto. You know, all these little everyday interactions being integrated with crypto and blockchain.
Valora me, and I own some money. Like all the money I owned.
Yeah, I think building off of what Dominique said, the cash in, cash out is a really important aspect. I see a lot of my friends when they start using the app, they're like, okay, like what can I do with this money? And so I'm really excited actually about the Bedali integration where you can use Valora to buy gift cards, because I think for a lot of people that makes it like really real, like I can buy something with this immediately.
So continuing with the user adoption challenges. So what are the like biggest challenges or the barriers that you see in the crypto world? You know, application like Valora. It's a unique challenge compared to like a PayPal or Venmo where the bank account is directly associated with, right?
Yeah, Judy, I think you hit the nail on the head. It's unique. And with uniqueness, you need education and you need accurate education, I would say, because there's so many different like nuances and differences between not not just between like Venmo and Valora, but between all the different kinds of crypto that are just available. And so getting that education out there is huge. And we see that every day when I work in ours with our support agents. I see a lot of the feedback and all of the questions that users have. And they're just these little small differences that make a difference between being able to use Valora and crypto in general, being able to use it well and being able to establish, I guess you could say like best practices or good habits.
Yeah, I completely agree with Dominique. And this idea of user education is something that we definitely do offline, but also like not offline, off Valora app, but also in the Valora app. So one question from the audience that you now see on the screen is like, if we have plans to do this in app. And I completely want to like re-emphasize what Dominique said, like user education is maybe one of the biggest blockers. And so we're working to provide that education in-app. So Valora users, when they finish onboarding and they're very excited about using Valora, they can easily learn how to use it and how it's useful to them. So bridging the gap between like what a Valora user like wants to learn and like what they can do. And so we want to provide that information in-app so that they're like really quickly be able to successfully use the app. And so I think that will drive a lot of adoption. This is like a step-by-step process. We don't want to bombard users with education. So you may have seen if you're on Valora already that there's some user education around the Bidali gift card feature, right? That Isabel mentioned just a minute ago. There's like some new user education on like Celo rewards. And so slowly we're communicating to Valora users what they can do with Valora. And hopefully we can get over that hump of like the initial user education.
So beyond the in-app application, like education components that we plan to add, are there other plans that we can share?
Nothing quite that we can share, but there are a lot of education things coming down the pipeline. That's really exciting. And really when we talk about Valora and education on the Celo platform, we're talking about a lot of different audiences. So we have, the people who are already in the crypto space, and that's an entire audience in itself. So those people are really excited to get to know Valora, to get to know CUSD, to get to know Celo and what we're doing. But then there's other people. There's the end users. There are different demographics. There's so many different people that can find value in CUSD and Celo and Valora. So all of those different education types are coming out, and we're being very thoughtful about them because we want to make sure that whatever people experience, it really adds value to their lives and is something that they can really see themselves using and benefiting their community at the end of the day and benefiting the people around them.
I just wanted to go back to the question about how we can increase user adoption in the crypto space. And I think aside from the education piece, which is like super key, there's a lot of also innovation being done in sort of like the user experience field, where a lot of crypto products now that are user facing are really meant for sort of like a crypto savvy user who is really used to a lot of like crypto practices, such as like seed phrases and like, I don't know, like codes and stuff that may be really confusing for like the average social media user. And so I think there's a lot of thinking right now being done around like, how can we make that process a lot smoother, a lot more intuitive, and just like less confusing for like the average person around like, yeah, a lot of things around like account recovery and other things that are like not so, I guess, like standard right now.
Before I move on to the next question, I would like to remind the live audience that you can continue to send us the questions through the platform you're using. If no questions thus far, and one of the questions that I prepared is about financial inclusion is very important to Celo's mission, right? Because it's all about empowering financial inclusion for everyone. So what are the most important features of the Valora to you, and why?
For me, this is very near and dear to my heart. And being here, I think I was employee number 12. And so this was before Valora was even a thing. And we were thinking about all of these different things. And every day, whenever we came into meetings, we were thinking about our mission. And what is our mission and how do we bring that to life? And we really understood that it needed to be from the foundation. And the way that we built it had to be integral to like the further thing. So we couldn't think of it as an afterthought, like, oh, okay, financial prosperity in the future. It was, okay, how do we make sure that we build this foundation so that everything after that has to build it for prosperity and for inclusion, all those different things. So to me, with Valora, every day we are wondering, how do we make sure that we put this in the hands of the people who need it the most? How do we build with the user and not for the user? So I know Denise has been part of this a lot, but user research and going to people in the Philippines 2 years ago now, maybe, before pre-COVID, we actually went to Colombia as an entire company. And we were able to do user research, every single person. So myself and engineers and people who didn't have access to this, to really understand the power that this tool could have in these users' hands. And those stories will always be with me. And every day when we come in through the door or virtually on the screen, it's okay, let's resync. What is that mission? And how do we make sure that we live that throughout everything that we build? Because if we don't do that, then we're failing the user. So that's really, really important to me and has been throughout the entire journey of this company.
Other panelists want to share any key feature of Valora that you think is important to you and why?
For me, honestly, I think just how nice Valora looks. Like, just it, like, even aside from being a crypto product, I think it's just like really pretty to look at. It's like really smooth to use. Like when you use it, you just feel like this was like designed for like me, and it's really like easy to use, which I think is like super important. Yeah.
For me, it's the ability that Valora has of empowering the community. So we've seen through some of the Celo ecosystem partners that have run some UBI programs or cash assistance programs in the Philippines, for example. The Grameen Foundation ran one last year. And in Brazil, Impact Market is currently running a UBI program there. That using Valora is not just to the benefit of those receiving these cash aid programs or like UBIs, it's also to the benefit of the greater community. So Valora enables people to not just like send payments like peer-to-peer, but also for merchants to start accepting payments with Valora. And in that way, it allows the community to kind of like create a circular economy with that UBI mechanism or the cash aid that was delivered to certain individuals, and then like really empower the entire community. And Valora is a tool that is very much based on those who the user knows, right? Like to send a transaction or to pay someone, you can simply choose someone in your contacts list or your phone's address book. And so I think like that aspect of like the community empowerment is one of my favorites.
Any like customer supports, like a user support, end user supports aspect of like features that you folks want to talk about? like getting the surveys or the feedback? How do we do that? I got this survey notification, by the way, to fill out the survey. That's why I'm asking.
So a lot of us work on user research. Dominique and I, from the product perspective, we work on sending this like calls for feedback. Laurence and I also work on this type of kind of feedback loops with in collaboration between marketing and product. So the intention is that we are still in the early stages of Valora. So it's very easy for us to hear what our current users and our early adopters have to say about Valora, what they would like to see, who they think the product would benefit the most. And so this is how we're trying to engage our current users today, and how I think we should be engaging them going forward as well. There's like services, opportunities to do like user interviews. They can always like drop a line to our support team and like make a recommendation there of what they'd like to see, or just provide feedback and be candid. And I do think a lot of our early Valora users are very honest and candid, and so have provided very, very valuable feedback that then the product team takes on and tries to iterate the product or programs and the product experience overall to fit the expectations and needs of users.
You know, someone like me, I also care about the application, any application I use. Whether this application is not just for the sake of like, oh, cool effect and what have you. And I know I'm particularly very proud of the Celo platform being a carbon negative, right? So for the Valora users, what aspects of the Valora end users can take away and say, knowing that, you know, they are contributing to the Celo platform continue to be carbon negative. Anyone wants to take that?
I can chat a little bit about Project Wren. This was actually something that I found really exciting for the Celo platform to take on. It was one of our first governance proposals, actually. So with governance, it's given to the community. Anyone who holds Celo, the native asset, is able to vote. And it was to make the platform actually become carbon negative. And it was voted yes by the platform. So it wasn't just the people who were super at the beginning, but anyone who was holding it. And now we are carbon negative, which if you follow the blockchain space, it is known for being extremely energy consumptive. I'm not sure how to say that, but it just takes a lot of energy. So it's actually not that great for the environment. And now we're able to proudly say that the Celo platform is carbon negative. And this is really important to Valora. So what we're talking about with all these features, you know, not having these long public keys so that end user is like, okay, great. We also have that ultralight client protocol. So people can use Valora in places where there's not that much data. And that's really important because a lot of people can't pay for that data. And we want to make sure that they also have that access to the tools and the things they need. But yeah, Project Wren was one of the proudest moments I've had as a person working on the Celo platform to see that come to life. And it really fits our mission and what we want.
Yes, continuing on the challenges. So what are the biggest challenges of Valora development and the user adoption? Forget about the crypto, just Valora application.
I would say actually, like, just because it is quite a technically complicated application, and a lot of our users are in places where their cell phones may not be like super powerful, or they might be in places with like not as great cell service and stuff. So figuring out how to run, like, I don't know if a lot of people know this, but Valora actually runs like a blockchain node. Like we've created a light Geth node called Forno, which runs completely locally on the phone. And so figuring out how to sort of do a lot of these like technical innovations in conditions that like don't have that much like computing power and stuff, I think has been sort of a big challenge for us. But yeah, it's something that we've really pushed hard for, because like like we mentioned before, our mission is really to make like this platform accessible to like everyone, regardless of sort of where and who they are. So yeah.
I think another challenge is, again, putting yourselves in the shoes of the user, like how people interpret what they see on Valora. We have users who speak a variety of language in like 140 or more countries, where their, what we call in user research, like mental benchmarks are different. We talk a lot of Valora being Venmo for crypto, but that's a mental benchmark that only works in the US. I don't actually know, but I don't think Venmo is available anywhere else. You can talk about PayPal, which is more of a global product, but it's still like people's benchmarks vary country by country. And so how we communicate value propositions, user education to Valora users needs to like be very thoughtful of this. Like, what are people comparing it, comparing Valora's experience kind of against? In a place like Kenya, for example, where mobile money is very widely adopted, then that comparison is completely different to a Venmo transaction in the US. And so being able to create a truly global product that sure is available in today 3 languages. It's available in Spanish, in Portuguese, and in English. Like, language is one part, but then like visual design and like what we call localization, so making sure any examples or any references are relevant to our users regardless of their background, is very, very challenging. It's one product for like a multitude of audiences around the world, and so to Izzy's point earlier, simplifying it is something we really resort to from all perspectives, not just engineering. So that by providing a simple experience, it's easier for us to communicate with users in different parts of the world.
And to add to that a little bit, something that we think about from a marketing perspective is when we enter new places, we don't want to come in and say, this is the best thing, like this is what you need to do. It's actually like, we're coming in and we're looking at your culture and the beauty of your land and what you do in your community, and like taking that in and being like, wow, like how can we learn from you, and how can this help support you and make this even better? And I think that is really important, because when we talk about all these features and these things that we build, if we build it in a silo where we're talking about, Venmo, okay, that's a US thing. If we build it in that silo and say, okay, we're the Venmo for the world, well, actually, we're missing a lot of people and we're missing a lot of beauty in the world that we can learn from and we can bring into that application. So it's really important for us to go out and to talk to users and to do all of these different things so that we can truly create this application that is global and that resonates with tons and tons of people and has the beauty that we see everywhere inside of this application.
I just got another notification that I earned money on Valora. And I was thinking that reintroducing the earning reward program on Valora. Can one of you talk in more detail about like how one can hop on it?
Yeah, I can address that. So the Celo Rewards program is actually a Celo program. So it's a platform-wide program. And it was also a governance proposal that passed a couple of months ago. And this program rewards Celo dollar holders with Celo. So there are like 4 different levels at which you can earn. The minimum balance that you need to be holding in Valora on average over the course of a week is $10 Celo dollars. So if you're holding 10 Celo dollars, you will earn a certain amount of reward in Celo. And so this Celo reward is deposited into your Valora if your Celo address is connected to Valora. But you could also have a Celo address connected to another application, and that would also work if you meet all the eligibility criteria. So Celo is a way to earn by holding Celo dollars, not just in Valora, but for all Celo platform participants.
There are accidental kind of feature that you didn't know about, but I'm like, I'm using it, but it wasn't intended for. Is there a feature that on Valora that you're using it for some other use?
I think it's kind of hard for us all to say because we work really closely with the app.
Mm.
And so we're aware of all of its features. And I think if there was something that we wanted to use Valora as, that feature is in the works or it has been made. So I think maybe like the Celo rewards program was something that we had wanted in the past and now we have it. And I think that just speaks to how great it is having something on the blockchain where, you know, it's community driven and we can bring up proposals and we can vote on it. And, you know, it's up to us to decide what we want for this.
Just one crazy example of some cLabs team members using Valora for was to just text each other back and forth. Because with Valora, the minimum transaction amount that you need to send is so low, right? Like it's like 0.001 or 0.0. But some zeros, I think 2 zeros and a 1, if I'm correct. So it's so
Very cheap.
Yeah, it's
Well,
so
not free.
It's not free, but I'm just talking about the amount you send. Like if I want to just, I don't know, send Laurence a Slack message, I could instead just send her $0.01 several dollars and like add a comment with my message to her. So a lot of members of the cLabs team were doing this jokingly, but also as part of our internal testing program to make sure like we identify any bugs or issues. So there are some crazy use cases that I don't know if they're most efficient, but like that are possible with Valora.
So someday it will be possible to send emojis.
That would be lovely. Yes.
Yeah. I'll send you emojis, Lawrence.
I've also heard of some people like exchanging their money with it. So if they cash in a currency and then they cash out to another currency, I guess you're not really paying anyone that fee in the middle.
Cash in, cash out. You know, when I look at the new application or the new website or a new company, the customer support is like huge thing, right? And that sometimes makes the make or break. From the customer support perspective, what are the typical questions that you folks get from the end users, or what does the customer support mean in our decentralized application environment?
I can start with this. So I think there are two different kinds of users that we usually get with Valora support. Obviously, the main one is, users using Valora, but then we also have a small section who are merely Celo users, not necessarily Valora users. And in the Valora section, it ranges from, how do I use the app? How do I cash in and cash out? In the beginning, we had a lot of onboarding questions. Now, not so much. We've been able to iron out a lot of those kinks. And so that's a lot more smoother process than it used to be. There are still, of course, some things that we can improve on, that we are working on, but now a lot of the focus is on, using the app. How is this app going to be valuable to me? A lot of it's focusing on, can I use this to send money to my family? And then how are they going to use that money? How are they going to cash out? So a lot of it is focused on usability and being able to use it in one part of the world or another. We also get a lot of questions to do with a lot of the pilots that we're involved in. So like Impact Market or the Mercy Corps pilot, which uses Kotani Pay. I believe that one's in Kenya and Impact Market is in Brazil. So we just get just a variety of questions. And when it comes to Celo users, a lot of it is about, what our plans are for the future. Will we be able to do this, or will we be able to do that? So there's definitely a lot of interest in being able to use it because they see like a lot of potential with Celo, and they just like want to know when and how to do it.
Anyone else want to add? No, just Dominic is the only person.
I am the main person on support in this panel, so
One woman on a mission.
She's the expert.
So we have a question from YouTube users. How can Valora users help you?
I think this has been mentioned many times, but the way that Valora users can help us is by talking to us. So talk to Valora, talk to the team behind Valora, answer our surveys, but also be proactive. You can always reach out to the team by reaching out through support. You can send feature requests, feedback. If something is not looking right, like Valora is still a very early product, so we take that on and then try to fix it as soon as possible. Valora is released on a schedule, and so like you should be seeing like a new release of Valora like about every month. And so things change, right? Like when you build a new product or you're like iterating on builds, things change and something may not look as you expected. Like that feedback is super, super welcome. Please let us know by reaching out to us. And I think maybe in the future we'll have like a more structured feedback feature request kind of channel. But in the meantime, just let us know what you would like to see. Another way to help also, I think Laurence would probably agree with this, is just share Valora with your friends and like tell Valora about all the things they can do with, tell your friends all the things they can do with Valora so they also get excited about it.
Yeah,
You can also join our Discord channel where there's a Valora channel and people discuss the app. Yeah.
Yeah, and to add to that, I think Denise summed it up really well. And then also Discord is where the whole community is. So you can not only get involved with Valora, but also the Celo platform and everything going on there and see all the cool different applications being built as well. But really, like we say, from a marketing perspective, I guess, we want to learn from you. And everyone has so many amazing ideas that if you do have a feature request or you're like, hey, I sent this to my friend and this is what happened. And what if you did this? That's amazing and incredible. And we love that. And if you think that there are any partners that would be amazing for us to be with or to showcase, that's always super appreciated. And we love working with people who are mission aligned and spreading the message through those different platforms.
Yeah, definitely. Send us your feedback. Send us your suggestions. We want to hear it all because we want to know what our users want. And when we hear, a lot of chatter about specific features or wants, then that's tends to be a lot of what we take into consideration for what we are going to work on next. And if you don't just want to be on the user side of Valora, if you want to be more involved, we have a lot of options for that. We have the ambassador program where you can be involved in your community and bring Valora and Celo to your community. You can apply for grants, I think, through the Celo camp that we have.
Also the community fund as well.
Yeah, and the community fund.
Yeah. And we're big on like educational funds. So that's another great way to get involved.
Yeah. And also, shameless plug, we are having the Make It Mobile hackathon right now. So if you're tech savvy, then come on, I think we can put up a link for that. But, look into it. There's not just like application bounties available. There are other things you can do if you're not super tech savvy, I think. And so it's for a variety of people with a variety of skills who just want to be involved. And so just ask, and we'll show you, how you can be involved if you really want it to be.
Yeah, and the Make It Mobile hackathon, it sounds like it's technical, but really there's a lot of bounties. I shouldn't say a lot. There are bounties for other people. So one of the first bounties was actually for designers. And we have a quarterly event. It's called Connecco, and it is where the entire community comes together, and it's kind of our all hands for the Celo community. And Valora has been on there a couple times, but the first bounty was for designing a badge for Connecco. So a designer could come in and create that badge. So we really talk about all of our people as designers, developers, dreamers, and doers. And we really feel like everyone can kind of be in one or multiple of those categories. And that's what that hackathon is about, is how do we bring all of these amazing minds together so that they can build beautiful things.
Any other questions from the audience? Okay. Or comments? Feature request? This is your chance to talk to us. I did prepare like a little fun exercise for the panelists. And you can say it in the language, as many languages that you know. Denise, Lawrence, Isabel, Dominic, I know you speak more than one language. So in your own words that you're most comfortable with or want to practice, quickly. Valora and the song I hear is. Denise?
I did not prepare for this, so maybe I'll just do it in Spanish. So you all maybe don't understand what I say. Valora es la canción de Feliz Cumpleaños que celebra a todos los que están participando.
Lawrence, you hear Valora, and then the song you hear is?
Well, you did this question this morning, and when I was driving back from horseback riding,
That's
it
right.
was really, it was hey baby, if you'll be my girl. You know that song? That's
no,
why I was like,
don't.
oh, that's Valora. It's a very old song, but it's one of my favorites. But it's called Hey Baby, If You'll Be My Girl.
Isabel?
I don't really know. I guess I just think of those. This is a little weird, but those those ambient YouTube mixes that are just like really relaxing, like study, like forest sounds. Yeah, maybe it's the color green, or like it's just like a very calming sort of vibe.
Dominic, you can surprise us.
Mine is gonna sound like the opposite of Isabel's. It's not a specific song, it's more of like a vibe, or I guess a genre. But you know, when you have like, because Valora is so community driven, I think of you know, like a whole like tribe together, and you're like it's like an African drum song, and we're all like dancing around like a huge bonfire or something.
So I'm in Berlin. Maybe this is why techno music, like hot chips, like do it now, you know, the like download it. It's like do it now. It's like download it, folks. Next speed question. I'd love it if Valora could do. Fill the blank, please. Who wants to go first?
I would love to see staking in app. I think this would probably be a little in the future, but staking with Celo.
I love that. I love it more than mine. For mine, it would be cash in, cash out without a third party. So just you can cash in, cash out and not have to use a different platform.
Yes.
I think I love traveling, and I definitely miss that in this new pandemic world. So I would love to be able to just do all my travel needs in Valora, buy my tickets, book my homestays or hotels, and just like really be able to use it for something that I really, really love.
Dom?
Yeah, mine's gonna sound just like Denise's. I want Valora to just be able to do everything. I want it to, I guess, maybe be like the Apple Wallet of blockchain. Now we'll start a new thing. Instead of Venmo, now we're going to be Apple Wallet.
I like it. It's much more global than Venmo.
That's right. I want y'all all to Valora me, I Valora you, Valora my friends, Valora my family, Valora me. I'm excited to use my Valora app.
An airport one day, going with the trend of Denise and Dom.
In the meantime, to maybe buy firewood at our local campsite.
I want to swipe Valora app. Where are you excited at?
I'm actually really excited to use, I think Valora connects with a Moolah market where you can earn interest on your Celo. This exists already, but yeah, I'm actually really excited to use it.
I'd be excited to use Valora in kind of more cash-based societies because I don't want to go look for an ATM for cash, but I always have my phone.
You're talking to me, Berlin. It's all about cash.
Yeah. I remember when I traveled to Japan, they're like, "Hey, it's a very cash-based society. You gotta go and grab some cash." And so I was like, okay, and I had to find an ATM, and there was this annoying ATM fee because I was using a card that wasn't the bank's card, and so to be able to avoid those fees would be nice.
Last speed question. This is the feature kind of announcement or the hidden feature. Did you know you could do with the Valora ...
Buy gift cards. It's great.
Oh, yes, that's right. You can buy great gift cards.
Yeah, and they're actually gift cards you can use. They're not rando ones.
Yeah, you can send gifts in the form of gift cards or mobile top-ups to a family member or a friend anywhere in the world. So my best friend lives in Amsterdam, so I can now just buy her birthday present on Valora and just get it delivered to her email, and then she can just use it however she wants, that gift card.
Oh, you cannot train right on the Lawrence's answer, Denise.
I'm really excited.
You get your own answer.
I feel like she did the better version of mine because I was like, I can buy gift cards. She's like, I can buy gift cards for other people.
Well, I can get more answers from Denise.
I'd like to know before someone takes this answer. You can use Valora to exchange between Celo and Celo dollars. I don't think that's always obvious to a lot of users. Also, on that, if you're on an exchange and it only accepts CUSD or it only accepts Celo, and you want to send it to a different exchange, you can use Valora as a middleman to exchange between those two. So just keep that in mind.
Mine would be, did you know that you can use Valora to contribute to the world's biggest UBI project with Impact Market? So yeah, we work with this organization called Impact Market that runs UBI experiments in a lot of communities across the world, which I think is so cool because there's been so much talk about UBI and how does that affect communities? And so you can really see that play out in real time. Yeah.
You can use Valora to pay someone for their work. So I work with people in Brazil, with people who help us out with projects all around the world. And now we, being cLabs, can compensate them using Valora. And it's just a very easy and fast and affordable way for them to get paid.
Nice touch. Nice touch. Nice closing.
Thank you.
You brought it, Denise. Wow.
Oh, there's a comment about
we
Apple
have
Pay that I think we should
virtual
touch
wallet.
on.
So I'm getting the answer from the audience in Philippines, likes the virtual wallet. So we have another new question. Excited to use Valora to buy goods and services here in Philippines, just like a virtual wallet, where I can transfer funds to big merchants here. Wow, this is amazing. No.
Judy, I also see there's another, here we go, yeah.
I wish there was a Valora credit card that integrated with the Apple Pay. Yes, that was my answer. Because I want to scan with my Apple Watch.
Since we're talking about our wish list, I think related to credit cards, it would be really cool to get cash back, right? Like, I don't know if there are any Celo community members working on this, but getting cashbacks for your purchases with Valora, just like a credit card, that would be really cool.
Yeah.
And I think we can point out that we are getting some integration with Apple Pay on a couple of our cash in and cash out providers. So that we're continually including more and more options so that it makes it easier for people to be able to use Valora.
Our time is up. I really thank everyone for joining today, and especially panelists, beautiful faces. Thank you for joining. It was fun.